Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, the Duel Triangle is here, the newest event with Fusion, Synchro, and Link, and we're going to take a look at it in together, right? And you can see here that Synchro is absolutely dominating, because Tenpai is a deck that is entirely untouched. Well, okay, technically it is nerfed a little, but not enough to actually make a meaningful headway. So, yeah, everyone is playing Tenpai, and it is absolutely dominating. So if you don't want to join the crowd, I have two different decks, one for Link and one for Fusion, that you could play to just have some fun. It's not exactly designed to beat anything in particular, it's just for fun. However, I do want to make note of something. I never played against anything other than Synchro. It was only ever Synchro, and there were two decks that I played a ton of, or against. Centurion, which has a loner deck, if you don't know, and Tenpai, obviously. That was 90%, genuinely 90% of my matches. The other two games that I played, the only other two games that I played was, not this one. Was it this one? Was Virtual World. I played two other people who were not playing Centurion or Tenpai, and it was Virtual World. That was it. Everything else was those two decks and only those two decks. So, let me just show you some other decks. Starting off here with the Fusion deck, which happens to be Shaddoll. Now, it's very rare that I actually have an opportunity to play Shaddoll and it works. So, I'm gonna make the most of it. And honestly, this did pretty well. It's not insane, but it did pretty well. And yeah, let's just quickly go through the card by card and the explanation. Starting off with the fact that we are playing Winda. That is our win condition. The opponent summons a Chandra, and then we say, Omega lol, here's Winda. Deal with it. Smile. That's the idea. It's not exactly the most fun, but also Shaddoll is just like really fun outside of that, so don't really care. But yeah, the other things that we are doing, we're playing a whole bunch of Shaddolls, obviously, but we're also playing the Invoked engine, so we're playing 3 apiece of Alistair, 2 Invocation, and 3 Magical Meltdown. Magical Meltdown is the main reason why we're playing this, but also being able to go like normal summon Alistair to search out an Invocation, which can then use the cards in hand in order to fuse, is pretty nice. So that's kind of the main reasons for that. And then we're also playing 2 Blazing Cartesia as just ways to get into the construct. It's a light target, that's kind of it. This could also just be pretty much any light. It doesn't have to be Blazing Cartesia, but it comes up occasionally. And then a whole bunch of Shaddolls. We're running 1 Falco, 1 Dragon, and 1 Hell Shaddoll Hollow for the fire. We're also running 2 Hedgehog, 3 Squamata, 3 Wendy, and 2 Beast, and that is it for the monster. Oh, sorry, we're also running 1 Ariel as insurance, basically. And that is it for the monsters. We're also running a whole bunch of spells, 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 2 El Shaddoll Fusion. We're also running 1 Fusion Deployment, which is fairly okay. The 2 Triple Tactics Talents, and the 1 Super Polymerization alongside the Invocation and the Magical Meltdown. And then a whole bunch of traps as well. We're running 1 Re-Shaddoll, or Resh-Shaddoll, Incarnation, as well as Schism. Now, Incarnation is pretty important, mostly due to the fact that if you do go into the Construct line, you are then able to send the Incarnation as well as Squamata off of like a Shaddoll Fusion, right? Which would then allow you to send something like Wendy. With the Incarnation in Grave, you can summon Hedgehog. Hedgehog would then banish, or sorry, not Hedgehog. Incarnation and Wendy banish in order to flip the Hedgehog face up, which activates its flip effect to add a Shaddoll spell trap, which then you can add the Schism, which then you can set, which is great. So that's a great turn 1 play. You can also do it in a myriad of other ways. So there's that. But yeah, it's just pretty solid, all in all. As for the other cards, we're playing 2 Judgment as well as 3 Strike. It should probably be the other way around. I think Judgment's just better, but I have 2 Judgment and I have 3 Strike. So that's what we're doing. And the main reason for this is because the Solemns are very good into Tenpai, just like across the board. They're just very strong, right? Because, hey, if you're going first, set some of the strongest cards and they happen to be counter traps. They're not great into like going second, but that's why like we have Triple Tack and Super Polymerization. So, and also, like, Shaddoll Fusion itself generates an insane amount of advantage going second, just basically by existing. So I'm not really too concerned about specifically going second, because, yeah, half the time your opponent's going to give you going first anyway. As for the extra deck, it's pretty standard. We're playing 2 Winda, we're playing 2 Construct, and we're playing 2 Apkallone. Honestly, I should probably cut the Apkallone to 1 and play the 3rd Winda, but I'm not. Then we're also playing 1 Raijin for the Alistair, as well as Wendy. It's just nice to have in general. It's pretty good. Then we're also playing 1 apiece of the Purgatrio as well. Or sorry, we're running 1 Purgatrio as well to just kind of OTK more efficiently. And then we also have a singular super polymerization target. Now, this may seem weird, but like 90% of my deck, in terms of monsters at the very least, can just be set, and then you activate super poly to go into a thing. So it's not really that big of a deal that I'm only running the 1 Garura. And this is just for like very specific situations. But yeah, for the most part, we're not actually summoning this off of super poly. It's also at 1, so like who cares? But there's that. We're running 1 Grista for a Schism target. So you can like activate Schism, send away with like a Hell Shaddoll Hollow to send away a Tenpai. Then we're also playing Granganol as well as the target for Granganol because we have the extra deck space, the 2 Mechaba, and then the 1 Sheki Naga. And that is pretty much it. Let's hop into the replay and show you how this deck performed. Alright, here we are going first, and honestly, it's not a terrible hand. Magical Meltdown is pretty good here. So we're going to start off here with the Magical Meltdown and grab up the Alistair the Invoker. Then I'm actually going to normal summon Blazing Cartesia. 2 reasons. 1, it allows us to more efficiently go into a Construct on our turn, which is nice. But also, if my opponent had stopped that, we would have been able to go for it again on the following turn. And I more specifically want to keep Alistair in hand for our for Winda. So there's that. Anyway, we're going to go for the Construct here. We're going to activate its effect in order to send it to the graveyard, as well as special summon it with the Wendy. We're going to special summon the Hedgehog. So now here we can go for the Incarnation. We're going to banish 2, special summon out the Hedgehog, and flip it face up to grab Schism. Realistically, I think I should have grabbed the Quick Play, El Shaddoll Fusion, activate the El Shaddoll Fusion, fusion summon into the Winda here with the Squamata and the Wendy, and then just send, like, I don't know, a Beast or something like that to draw a card. It's not the worst, though, but yeah, I probably should have done that. My opponent's going to go for the Bestial here, and this tells me immediately that my opponent is on the Centurion. So, yeah, out comes Centurion. They're going to go for the Trudea. I'm going to allow the Trudea to hit the field, mostly for the fact that, like, I want to send this or this to the grave, and if they're going to chain the Magma, I get to then send the Magma, which is great. So they're going to banish my my Cartesia, which I'm like, that's totally okay. I wasn't really planning on using it anyway, so we're going to go for the Schism here and banish my 2 monsters. Now, I know what you're saying. Why did we not use the Alistair the Invoker to, like, banish it? And the reason being is because I want to keep protection for Winda, and this is kind of the best way to do that. So we're going to send the Magnemut to the graveyard. My opponent's going to go for the Trudea, and then grab the Primera. Primera is going to activate its effect, special summoning itself. And they're going to grab the Counter Trap, because, I don't know, people are playing that for some reason. I know the Loner has it, but then they set 4. I'm like, oh no. And I draw Squamata because, of course, I do. I just immediately go to the battle phase. They're going to go for the Phalanx. Did you know that this allows you to special summon in any position? I didn't know that. I didn't know that that did that. Anyway, they're going to go for the Trudea here into the Synchro summon of Auxilia. I'm like, okay. I literally just have Winda set pass. But at the very least, it's gonna force battle phase with the Wendy, or with the Winda here. So I'm not too shook up about it. So there's that. Also, I believe they just use Phalanx. Out comes the Winda once again. They're going to now activate the effect of the Trudea, activate its effect again, setting the Gargoyle, and then normal summon Trudea 2 Electric Boogaloo. They're going to walk over the Winda here. I don't know why they didn't decide to do this the other way, but they didn't, so I guess Wendy's still on the field. It's not really going to do anything except for force out the Counter Trap. 10 out of 10, no notes. No notes! They played this perfectly. Anyway, so Wendy goes to the graveyard. It can't use its other effect here, but that's not really that big of a deal. They're going to go for the Gargoyle. I'm going to go for the Schism. They're going to go for the Called By. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of sucks. Can't really. And Called By 2, Electric Boogaloo. And now I'm like, oh, cool. They don't have anything. So this is actually pretty good for me, because now I can literally just normal summon Alistair, and then it does not matter what this Phalanx does. Like, we're off to the races. Unless they set Beast here. but they didn't. They said regained. So I'm like, okay, cool. At this point, this game is pretty much in my winning position. Super polymerization helps a ton. So, yeah, my opponent's going to go for the special summon here. They're going to go for the Magma as well. Then they're going to activate the Magma, activate the Primera, activate this effect, and Synchro here into Crimson Dragon. I'm like, now, I know what you're saying. Why have we not used Super Polymerization? Well, because, hey, that's a light. Cool. So, yeah, I'm going to get rid of the Crimson Dragon. They're going to search here. They're also going to try to tag out. And I'm like, no, not happening. Super Polymerization, pitch the Squamata. And we're going to fuse off here with the Alistair and the Crimson Dragon. So we're going to go for the Mechaba. My opponent then proceeds to activate the effect of their of the Phalanx. I'm like, no, because I want to go into Construct, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, this is the only way that I can do this. So if it were to have gotten banished, I could have just gone like Winda there or something like that. I really wanted to go for Construct, and you'll see why in a second. So my opponent's going to shuffle back my Mechaba, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But we get to send Squamata here, which sends Beast, which draws us a card. But more importantly, this allows me to now go for the Invocation as well, and I can just, on the following turn, go for the Schism. This also allows me to clear the field more efficiently, which is nice. We add another Invoker into the hand, and we're just going to walk over the field. Also, that monster was normal summon, so we could just walk into it with Construct and deal a bunch of damage. They put the Crimson Dragon back, which is hilarious. But, yeah. They go for the normal summon here, and then activate the effect of the Quick Play, and then just concede. I know it says connection failed, but, like, I just make Winda there, and they die. So, cool, good game. Alright, and you know I gotta play Tri-Brigade when links are available. So this is my Tri-Brigade list. I'm actually playing the Dangers, which are pretty cool. Mostly due to the fact that they are also... all of these that I'm playing specifically are Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast. So that's pretty nice. These are Beasts. This is a Winged Beast. It's pretty good. So this just allows me additional access with Kairos to kind of do a few things, as well as they could potentially pitch things like a Kit or a Nerval, which is pretty nice as well. But again, it's pretty simple. It's pure Tri-Brigade. I didn't try to do like Lyrilisc stuff, which is not terrible, but like, there's not really a point to it. So yeah, we'll just do the quick card by card. Starting off, we're playing 3 apiece of Nerval, Kit, and Fractal, as well as 3 Tenki, and 3 Revolt. I think previously I wasn't playing 3 apiece of this in a pure Tri-Brigade list. It's so good. So yeah, those are our like main engine pieces. We're also playing 3 Rescue Cat as well as a way to get into our other beasts, most notably these guys, which is pretty nice. So yeah, we can just special summon them off of a normal summon of a cat, which is again pretty good. And I think not as many people are playing hand traps that would specifically stop cat, things like Imperm, Valor, and Ash. So there's that. Then we're running the 2 Danger Jackalope, the 1 Bigfoot and the 1 Thunderbird. There's no real reason for this. I just didn't want to craft 3 Bigfoot. It should probably just be 3 Bigfoot and, like, a Thunderbird. But I didn't. So there's that. And then we're also playing 1 Apex Avian. This is just a hard Garnet. We do not want to see this. But it is the summon target off of the Bird of Sovereignty. Then we are also running the 1 Foolish Burial, 2 Triple Tactics Talents, 2 Called by the Grave, the triple Droplet, triple Infip, as well as our going first options with the 2 Judgments and Strikes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have a lot of options for going second with the Droplets and Triple Tack, as well as Infip. You can just hold the Imperm for the going second turn, or for turn 2 basically, and just use it and, you know, pair this alongside of a Droplet and a like, Nerval, and it's crazy. So it's pretty good. And then of course the Judgments and Solemns are just incredibly powerful. As for the extra deck here, we have ourselves the Almirage. We have Lightheart as our Link 1s. Lightheart is pretty nice if you are able to like get a card into the graveyard. Like for example, if you activate Fractal and it gets ashed, and then you can like normal summon a Kit or something along those lines. You like normal summon a guy, and then you can banish and summon the Lightheart and then go into Farigite. There's also a few other things that you can do with it, but yeah, that's like the main reason to do that. We are also playing IP Masquerena and SP, pretty standard there. We're playing Ancient Warrior Oaths, as well as Bird of Sovereignty and Doom Eagle, Desperate Doom Eagle, as our targets, basically, to summon off of our effects here. So there's that. And then we have a whole bunch of Tri-Brigade names, with the 2 Ferajit, the 1 Bear Brum, the 1 Rugal, and the 2 Shureg. And then we have 2 other things just to help us close out games, or like establish a board with the Apollosa and the Axis Code Talker. And that's pretty much it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first, and honestly it's not a terrible hand, but it's also not good. We're going to normal summon the cat, to which my opponent will go for the effect failure, and I will set 2 and pass to you. And we're hoping and praying these Solemns carry us, and this is going to show you how good these are. My opponent normal summons the Hydra, and I will just get rid of that entirely. So yeah, we just Judgment there. Which may seem a bit, like, counterintuitive, like, oh, why not wait for the effect? Well, the main reason that I didn't there is because if I just get rid of it, right, I still have Strike available, right? Yes, I could have done that, like, the other way, and then like, Protection and yada yada, but it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I probably should have, you're right, but it's not that big of a deal. My opponent had the Ash Blossom for the cat, so kind of tragic, but now we have the ability to just send Nerval with Fractal here. And now we go for the kit, normal summon it, activate its effect. My opponent has the Imperm, that's fine, that's why we did this the way that we did. Now we go for the Kairos here and special summon it. We're going to banish an additional 2 and go for the Ancient Warrior Oath, and then just proceed to battle. Cool. Now, here is where Strike is pretty important, right? Because had my opponent, had we kept the Judgment here as opposed to Strike, if my opponent just goes like, normal summon Chandra, and then activate the field spell, it's way worse. Right, so Strike happens to be a little bit more impactful against this deck. But my opponent goes for the Genroku. I'm like, that's totally fine. They go for the Hydra. I will say no. They also did this correctly. They actually like tagged out after attacking, which is smart. That's what you should do. The Synchro monsters with Tenpai specifically care about attack declaration, not actually having finished a battle, so there's that. Also, this may have seemed weird, but had I linked off Kit for something, the Kit wouldn't have triggered, and I need the trigger here, otherwise I don't really have a follow-up. Unless I draw something good here, happen to be Kit. But I'm not going to rely on me drawing well. It generally doesn't happen. We're going to send the Nerval here, we're going to grab the Fractal here, and at this point my opponent realizes I can literally just normal summon the Fractal and kill them, so they just concede. Tenpai. Alright, so that's basically all that I've got for you. Obviously, there's a bunch of other decks that you could play within Link and Fusion. Well, with Link, there's not really a whole lot that you can do with Fusion. They kind of killed some of the most interesting decks, and yeah, there's not really a whole lot of good Fusion decks right now, where it's like main focus Fusion, right? Like Branded, obviously, but like Branded got super heavily nerfed. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. But, honestly, yeah, Synchro also has a whole bunch of stuff that you could play as well. You could play VW, which is cool, and there's a bunch of other stuff. But all in all, I'm not really too big of a fan of this event, mostly due to the fact that Tenpai and Centurion are so far and above everything else, right? If you want to go first, you play Centurion. It's significantly... It's not actually significantly stronger, but it's significantly more popular, so everyone's just playing it. And, more specifically, it actually is stronger because you're not having to play against Tenpai, and Tenpai is far and away the best deck. Once again, right? Yeah, so it's just kind of not that interesting of an event. Again, I played the vast majority of my games against 2 decks. That was it. So, it's not really a fun event, right? Now, granted, if I played Synchro, maybe it'd be more fun, but come on. Shouldn't it be fun for everyone? Anyway, that's my biggest gripe. It's not all that bad of like a concept, so it's whatever, but a little disappointing. Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like it very much so appreciated. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.